Saudi Arabia is attempting to make the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah, they're calling it the Line, and it is no shortage of controversy, but it's kind of really cool.
It is a massive building that they want to put 9 million people in that stretches 110 miles. It's reflective. It's going to be fully sufficient. It's going to have,
self-sufficient.
It's going to be fully self-sufficient. It's probably...
It's going to have all the buzzwords. It's AI, data-driven, connected, integrate, all the stuff that all the Silicon Valley bros say.
And just like all the Silicon Valley projects before it is crashing and burning before our very eyes. So this week we talk about that. This is a comedy podcast called Things I Learned Last Night. Every week we learn about an interesting topic and we joke around along the way. So if you search this topic, you found this episode and you're like, I'm going to learn about the Line. Yeah. But we're also going to make fun of you a lot. And no, it's all right. We're going to joke around. It's a good time. And thanks for checking out this episode. So
it's March 11th, Jaron. What do you got going
on? March 11th. It's, because it's like spring break time, I don't do a whole lot. I just kind of hang out. So it's March 11th.
Happy
just
spring
break.
Out.
Yeah, hanging out at my house. But I do have some
tour dates. You can come to
that.
that. You can get tickets if you want.
No, but I do have some tour dates coming up. And I've got some dates in June that are going to be available. I've also got dates before then, but all of my dates, as always, listed on jaronmyers.com/shows. Would love to see you at those. That's how I pay for my groceries. No pressure, but would love to see you at those.
But he's really hungry. It's been a while.
I really need you to show up. All right, let's get to the episode.
Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Neom? Neom? I think it's Neom.
Neom?
Neom. Neom. Neom? Neom.
Okay, well, I'm sure if you say it wrong 7 different times, I'm sure it'll clear us up. What is it? Is it an acronym?
Neom.
One more time, make it a 7. Did you get the space bar with the thing?
I did it.
Neom. It didn't make it any clearer.
Neom. Okay. That's right. That's what I thought. The font on this video, this pronunciation video, is the word Neom in really big block letters. And instead of just like a normal color, like normal fonts, it's beer. It's just beer bubbling behind the Neom.
Okay.
And that doesn't relate at all to what Neom is.
I think you're saying it too slow.
Neom?
Say it faster.
Neom. 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 You got to really extend that in.
Neom. Neom.
This is so offensive.
Is it?
Maybe.
Neom. Is it offensive? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know yet. I can't be offensive.
hope that you're not like...
I can't be offensive. I'm ignorant. At this point, you're ignorant.
That's what I'm saying. I'm ignorant.
I'm offensive.
Now.
You're ignorant.
You're being offensive.
Yeah, I know the story.
Okay, what's the story?
Okay, so Neom.
Yeah, it's offensive if you laugh after you say it, for sure.
Neom. Here, we've talked about this on the podcast before, many moons ago, many moons ago. But some things have happened, some life has happened, and we started to see some development take place here. Neom, if you don't know, is the Line city in Saudi Arabia. You've probably heard of it as the Line.
Yes,
but it's not just the Line. It's this big, huge, grand development. Yeah. So let me paint the picture for you. Probably the quintessential part of Neom is the Line. They've named it the Line because this city is just a line. Yeah. It's a 170 kilometer or 110 mile long line where it's essentially 2 towers next to each other for 110 miles.
Yeah.
And they're 110 mile long towers. And they're also 1,600 feet tall on both the towers. And so these are...
Show a picture of it.
Taller than the Empire State Building. Here's a picture of it.
Yeah, you got a picture of it.
They're taller than the Empire State Building. They're 1,200 feet, which the Empire State Building...
Do you have a comparison next to the Empire State Building?
I'm sure I could.
Yeah.
The Empire State Building is 1,200 feet tall. before the spire. If you're going up to the spire is let me see. The top of the spire is 1,400 feet tall. So it's 200 feet taller than the full run of the Empire State Building.
Okay.
And then it's also 110 meters long. And there's
110
two of them.
miles.
110 miles, thank you. 110 miles long, and there's two of them right next to each other. And on the outside, instead of like, you know how most buildings you look at, you're like, oh, hey, that's a building. I see that. This is a mirror. So it just reflects and it looks invisible. It's supposed to seem invisible. And it's just in the middle of this desert. A 110-mile long city in the middle of the desert. Yeah. And at the top of it, they have like agriculture on the roof. And so
agriculture? Sure.
So all the crops for the city are on the roof.
Yeah.
And then in between them, they have all these like open spaces and like living communal like park spaces in between these two towers.
How wide is it supposed to be? How far apart are the... You know what I'm saying?
Man, you always come up with these questions I don't know the answer to.
Why do I come up with normal questions about the... Because if you're talking about they're right next to each other...
The width is a quarter mile.
Okay, so it'd be a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Big long line building, quarter mile, big long line building in between. Yeah, and they're 110 miles.
Yeah, and they're connected by these series of bridges at multiple different levels. So the idea is that it's really 110 mile long, 1,600 foot long building. Yeah, tall building that 9 million people live in. But it's kind of like this. I
feel like for as big as this project is, 9 million's not enough.
What do you mean?
Like
110 miles long?
No. I mean, like, I feel like we should be able to fit more than 9 million in there.
To have a 110 mile long city?
I don't know about, it doesn't matter about the distance. I'm saying for as big of a project and an undertaking it is, to do this for just 9 million feels not enough. There's 20 million people in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I mean...
for as big as an undertaking as this is, to do it for 9 million people feels like, oh, you're gonna do this for...
Well, what's the population of Saudi Arabia? Let's put it into context here. You don't know that? You don't know the population?
Population is 13 million, Tim.
Oh, you're close. 34 million. You were halfway there. So that is...
Halfway would be 17.
Yeah, it's almost a third of their population could fit in this city. So that's, if you take it proportionately to the size of the whole country, then I guess it's
how much is it supposed to cost?
All of it.
Yeah. Every bit of money they got.
All of the money, all of it, not just all the money they have, all the money everybody has.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a giant undertaking. Because obviously like that's a huge a mega project, I guess you could call it. And the idea is it's this we hear this all the time with like developers who have this crazy idea, but it's this dream of like everything is within a 5-minute radius walking distance. It's like all your work, your play, everyone you need to know is 5 minutes away. You can walk there, which is it's so interesting that every time you see these like big mega projects start to appear, it's always, oh, hey, we expanded too wide and we wish we weren't so expanded. Yeah. And we need to make it really, really small. So they proposed this in 2019, said we're going to do this thing, and started going out and like getting funding. They have in Saudi Arabia the PIF, which I need to remember what PIF stands for, but it's a... It stands for
a brand of peanut butter.
The Public Investment Fund. And so what they have is it's equivalent to estimated around $930 billion that was created in 1971, basically a government trust fund to make the country a better country. And so they have this fund that they were using to help invest in this and start this, but they also knew, hey, I don't know if $930 billion is enough for this project. And so they started going out and getting investors. So there's actual people who are investing in Neom as a project to help make it happen. But here's where things got a little interesting. The dream was the line. And then they started looking for investors, and there wasn't enough people interested in this because, like, yeah, I guess you could be a landlord of the line.
Yeah.
But like, what's
the payoff?
Yeah, how do you make money off of this? Why
How
would
far
I
is
invest
this
in
from
this?
like an actual city?
Oh, it's the middle of the desert.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. It is in this region that had absolutely nothing in it.
Okay.
So they're expecting people to move into a literal
How do they
desert.
get like water and resources?
They're running all those lines.
Okay.
And so
That's part of the
$1
trillion
multi-trillion dollar project. So they
How much would rent have to be
I haven't seen
to
estimates
pay back
on
a
that.
multi-trillion dollar building with 9 million people?
I haven't seen any estimates on that yet.
Okay.
But they start going and looking for investors, and the investors are like, yeah, what's the point? How do I make my money back? Like, obviously,
Right.
as the nation for Saudi Arabia, there's something they get from building a really cool mega project as a nation.
Yeah.
But like for me,
You guys get the line.
yeah, but for me,
Okay.
but for me as an investor, like, what's the point? So they started adding in a lot of these different things that are like, oh, this will actually appeal to investors. So it went from being the line city to Neom, the district.
Neom.
And so Neom is,
I don't see how this could be offensive. Neom. You say it like a cat. Neom.
yeah, Neom, and Neom, it's a,
If I say every time I say it, he's gonna say it. That's what's awesome.
Neom.
Okay. So Neom.
Neom.
Is Neom.
So they added a bunch of kind of sub projects to this district that will appeal to investors.
Yeah,
And so
Starbucks.
there's the line, and then there's the Octagon. I think you can see where this is going. The Octagon is arguably my favorite
The
part.
what?
The Octagon.
Octagon.
Yeah, I know it's not octagon. It's Octagon. I know you hear that and you say, wait, you're saying the wrong
you say
thing.
Octagon.
Yeah, it's Octagon is the
Okay.
name of it. Because Octagon.
So now there's a different because when you hear this, my first thought as an investor,
that's an investment. That's a
you remember
shark.
this and you go, okay, we want to put this line in the desert, 110 miles, 9 million people, and I go, where do the better people go?
Where did the
Is there a Delta Sky Club? You know, what's the High Line? You know what I'm saying? Where do I go to feel better than the 9 million? That's exactly what I think.
I think the idea is this is where the better people go.
Oh no!
The line is for
there
the
can't-
better
But
people.
you're failing to understand. There can't be 9 million better people. That's
You're
the whole.
saying that there needs to be a better
Dude,
for the better.
when I'm in the Sky Club and there's so many people in there, I go, there's got to be a better place. Like I know in that moment that I'm in the better place.
Yeah.
I am in the better place than the terminal.
and you say,
But it's
you
crowded,
see that
and I
you
go, there's
say,
somewhere
there's
better.
Got to be somewhere.
There is
that's better than
somewhere
this.
better than where I am right now.
Like when you saw Tony Gonzalez the other week, and you said, "Wait, there's no way he walked through the normal areas."
that's what I thought. But he did. Tony Gonzalez was on my flight the other day, and that guy and he's tall. He's clearly Tony Gonzalez.
How did he get out of there?
Everyone in the airport was trying so hard to act so normal. Everyone in
Yeah.
the airport's like, and I out loud, pretty loudly, I think loud enough that he could probably hear. I went, we're all pretending that's not Tony Gonzalez, right? And someone turned around and was like, I know. Then I was like, yeah, it seems pretty obvious that we're all just trying to be
We're all just like,
that wasn't
"It's
him.
Tony
Oh,
Gonzalez."
I don't know if you've seen professional athletes in person. You can tell they're professional athletes.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing professional athletes in person and being like, "Oh, I could tell they're the professional athletes." My wife and I had this argument the other day, and I'm curious what you think about this. So let's take it to our supporters online. Mom, you tell me what you think too.
Yeah, Terry, why don't you weigh in?
This is going to make me sound delusional for a second, but let me defend myself. We argued about this because I believe that if in kindergarten, my family and I made the decision
You could not.
that I could have gone.
You couldn't have.
I could have made it to the NFL.
couldn't have.
I think I could have made it to the NFL.
I'm telling you.
I know you think I couldn't have, but let me back myself. Let me explain. I'm not saying I could be.
5'6".
I'm not first of all, I'm 5'9". I'm 5'7", but my wife thinks I'm 5'9".
Because I wear heels all the time around her. What are you talking about? My wife thinks I'm 5'9".
That was a reference I thought you'd catch, but it's fine.
What's it from?
It's a TikTok. I'm 5'7", but my wife thinks I'm 5'9". Okay, no, but here's the thing. If in kindergarten,
Okay.
here's my point. If in kindergarten we said, hey, we're going to invest in this, and my parents had the means to get me the best coaches, the best dietitians, the best supplements, and put me in the competitive leagues.
Yeah.
That I think that from kindergarten, it would have had to start at kindergarten, and then put me in like private schools where I would play in like the private school in the area, then potentially get scouted, go college. I don't know if I could have got a scholarship and walked on D1. But I do think I could have gone.
I don't know if I could have got, but I know for sure I could make the NFL.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Listen to me. I could go JUCO, JUCO.
There's no JUCO path to the NFL.
Yes, there is. I go JUCO.
You're gonna do a Kurt Warner story.
Listen.
For what position?
Listen. I go do
what
JUCO.
Position
Hold on.
Brain, in your.
I could be like a scat back, or I could be like a slot wide receiver. At my size.
You might maybe, hard maybe, be a punter. And I mean this so sincerely.
No. Let me finish.
I don't even think you can be a kicker. You might be able to pull off being a punter.
Listen. Do the JUCO. Do maybe a year or two JUCO.
Sure.
Go D2. Do a year or two D2.
Yeah.
Be a fifth year senior.
Yeah.
Do a year at D1. And then I'm not even saying get drafted. Probably undrafted. And then maybe make a practice squad, work my way into the lineup.
Sure.
Not be a starter in the rotation, not a stud. No one knows my name, but I think I could have made the league had in kindergarten we invested in it.
I am telling you, genetically, you're wrong.
No. It's not about genetics. It's not about genetics. Because here's the thing. I recognize not a chance I'm a wide receiver. Not a chance I'm on the line.
Right.
Not a chance I'm a linebacker. I don't have the genetics for that. But I do think that there is a world as a slot wide receiver or as a running back where I could have...
As a running back.
Yeah. That's what I said, a scat back. Like, there's plenty of running backs who were small running backs who were quick and elusive. And I'm not saying I'd be a star. And listen to me, I'm not saying I'd be a star. But what I'm saying is, with enough time, enough perseverance, the right coaches, the right people in my life, and being put in the right positions, there's a lot of privilege. If I had a lot of privilege, I think I could have made it. And I think that's true of anybody. Alex, I think you could have made it. Jaron, I think you could have made it. Put in the right positions. I think there are people, I think, honestly, you would have had an easier path than I would have to the league. I think there are genetics that make it easier, and I think that there are genetics that make it to where...
I don't even think I could make it.
I guarantee, if you and I in kindergarten both committed to it and had the right privileges, you would have had an easier path than me. You probably wouldn't have had to go JUCO. You probably wouldn't have been undrafted. You probably would have been a late round talent.
I would have gone full ride to Evangel and then on to the moon from there.
Here's the thing.
I'll tell you what, in my current condition, I could be a better left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Take me up on it. I'm so serious. You know what? I'll start working right now. How about that?
Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's easy. What I'm saying.
Did you see the video where our left guard tackled Mahomes in the Super Bowl? Did you see that video? I'm not joking. Let me find it real quick.
That game was rough.
Let me find it right quick. Oh, it's literally, here we go. Perfect. I had it pulled up, ready to go. I'm so serious. Watch this video.
Okay.
Watch this video. Who tackles Mahomes in this video? He got tackled by our guy. Watch it again. Here he goes.
Rough. That's pretty rough. Because honestly,
was
potentially a breakaway at that point.
He tackled Mahomes
for at least 10 yards if it weren't for that.
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't do that.
Been that guy. Because that's the thing. Everybody thinks that these people are all just incredible athletes. And yes, they are incredible athletes. But
he fully tackled Mahomes.
More than being incredible athletes,
their brains are broken.
No.
CTE.
More than being incredible athletes, they had opportunity. And I think that had I think there's a lot of people who are far better athletes than the people that are in the league, but they didn't have the opportunity, so they didn't make it.
Maybe.
And so I think that being a mediocre level athlete, all you have to be is mediocre and willing enough to put in the work. And if you have the right strength and conditioning coach from a young age, you have the right positional coaches from a young age, you have a dietitian that's very important, and a supplement person who's going to pump you full of the right drugs, and then put in the right leagues to have the right eyeballs on you, you could make it. Are you going to be a stud when you don't have the right genetics for it? Probably not. You're probably not going to be a stud, but I think you're going to make it. I think you could make the league.
Partially true of most things, though.
Yes.
You know? Like there's so many
no
talented. There are so many talented comedians. Some of the funniest comedians I know will not make it. Because they don't have the business acumen or the connections or the drive. To make it their full-time gig.
Yes.
And there are plenty of full-time comedians who are not funny hardly at all. To hardly anybody. But they have the right connections, the right network, the right dad, and they've made it to where they need to be. And so, yes, I do think that plays. I will say,
I think there's a lot of people who think that their talent alone is going to get them there, and they rely on that too much.
I am saying if you just go watch a highlight clip of the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's our team, right? And when you recognize that large person. Do you know how many TILLN fans come to shows? And then they go, you're so much bigger in person than I thought you were going to be. I'm a very large guy. I am the same height as Patrick Mahomes. And when you look at him in the huddle, and he looks small compared to everyone else on that field, I think you and I...
But I'm the same size as Darren Sproles, and he made the league, and he didn't just make it to the league. He was a stud in the league. And so the genetics... Like, they're a factor. They are a factor. I don't disagree with that. But there is a position, there is a way that you can make it. Wes Welker, I don't know exactly how tall he was, but I do know he was shorter.
I believe you might have been, you could have been the next Carson Wentz.
I don't think I could have been the next Carson Wentz. I don't think I'm even that good. But what I would say is I think I could.
You hear how he talks about, he keeps switching between what he could have been and what he currently is. I don't think I'm that good. You hear it, right? Because I don't think I'm Carson Wentz. I don't think I'm that good. Present tense. That was present tense.
What I'm saying is I'm not saying...
You all hear it, right?
I'm not saying I could do it now. I'm not... The life I led up to this point,
hey,
I made some decisions. I didn't have the opportunity. I couldn't make it now. But I'll tell you what. I could make the Olympics swim team.
Don't you lean forward and talk
I could make the Olympics swim team right now.
You and I need to find something that we can go try to compete like at the top level in and see how...
Ping pong. Those people suck.
Are you dumb?
No, they're really freakishly good.
I was going to say, have you ever seen them play? They're crazy good.
They're really freakishly good. Now, we probably do cornhole.
Should we try to compete?
Cornhole.
I'm so serious right now.
We were pretty good at it back in the day.
We're going to try to, because it's the stuff that's like on ESPN too. Let's try to
and you don't have to be that, like cornhole's not.
Let's try to go compete on some stuff. We need some good midlife. You're about to be a dad.
I need something to pull me away from that kid.
We need something to distract
I have too much time to spend with that kid.
That's what I'm saying.
I need a reason for him to hate me.
All right, anyway.
Hey, if you've been watching for a minute and you like this show, a great way to help out is by becoming a Patreon supporters. Our patrons get a ton of perks for their support. They get ad-free episodes a week early. They get a Discord with our hosts and producers. We do monthly hangouts. There's a way to get birthday messages on your birthday. There's a lot of great perks, but more than anything, you just help make sure that this show continues to happen forever. We never want to stop. We're going to keep doing this forever. If we have enough patron supporters, we can put our brains in those little vats and like have AI pretend it's us. And so like we can keep doing it long after we die. But that only happens if you support us on Patreon. So we appreciate your support. Thanks for your help. If you don't want to support, that's totally fine. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you watching this show. So Neom, the word Neom is a combination of the Greek word neo, which means new, and the Arabic word, should have looked this up, but I'm going to take a swing at it.
This is offensive.
Mustaqbal is what I'm guessing. Mustaqbal, which means future. So new future is what Neom means. New future. And they had the line, and they said, we got to make this make sense for investors. And so they added in the octagon, which I'll show you a picture of the octagon. We'll show it up on screen. Here's the octagon. It is a floating city.
Where's the
this
line?
Is the Red Sea.
Is the line through there?
The line doesn't go. The line.
Oh,
isn't
the
part
line's
of
not
this.
near this.
This is a few miles from the line. So the line is further.
This is, they watched UFC and they were like, octagon.
They were like,
no, it's octagon. And they were like, octagon. And they went and made it.
Yeah, and so this is a floating city, but only like, it's not even half. It's like 6 points of the octagon are floating. The other points are on land because it'd be too unrealistic if they did it all floating.
Okay.
But it's a shipping corridor. So it's this massive new shipping corridor that's supposed to support the line. And so all the shipping and everything from the line and to the line go through the octagon. And it's also a major hub for the rest of Saudi Arabia and the rest of really the entire Middle East. Like this is the shipping hub for this continent or subcontinent, I guess. And this starts to make a lot more sense for investors because shipping is worth a ton of money. Yeah. Shipping is very, very valuable. And then they said,
I pay for shipping all the time.
And then they said, but wait, there's more. We're going to make this make even more sense for investors.
Okay.
So they added in Trojena, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know what Trojena, like if that has a meaning. Maybe like the Trojan horse. Maybe.
Why would it be Trojan horse though?
Because it's kind of like hidden a little bit, I think is the idea. So Trojena is a mountain like resort town. And this is a rendering. Again, we'll throw the picture of it. But here's the mountain resort town, and it's like built into the mountains. And so it's all like that, the foot of this mountain and all the like, it's just part of the mountain is the idea. So you're very like one with the...
So they took that's a MacBook background.
And they said, what if we
they just went to AI
stuck some houses?
Put a town in here.
Put a town in here. And so now this is the resort town. So this is where the richers are going. They're walking out of the line.
I was wondering when we're getting to this is the Delta Sky Club of...
Yeah. And so, but they said, but wait, all the rich people, like not every rich person loves mountain vibes. Like there are rich people who...
Now we're doing more stuff. This just seems like where it's like, what if we just built one thing though?
Well, they have to make this make sense for investors is the thing. Like you can't get investors if it's just one simple thing, you know? It needs to be 70 not so simple things. And so they added in Sindala. And so Sindala is for your other richer people who like, here's a picture of it, who like yachts and stuff and golf. And so it's
like yachts and stuff.
And so it's a big island and it's got 48 yacht slips.
Yahtsees.
And so you Yahtsees. Sorry. So you could take your yacht and park it here and then stay. There's all these hotels and all this luxury dining and this community built into and it's all very futuristic, built into the environment. So you can't really see that it's there. It's almost like it doesn't exist, but it like does.
Almost like it doesn't exist. Huh. Some subtle foreshadowing for the rest of this episode.
They brought in this Australian what's the word? Ecologist to cultivate the coral reefs around this and make them like the most expansive coral reefs in all of the Red Sea. And so it's like a very great, it's a great diving destination, a great yachting destination, and a great golfing destination, and a great food destination. It's got everything you could ever need if you're super rich and you don't want to be around the pores. So now you've got like 2 resort towns, you've got a shipping facility, and then they just started adding more and more stuff. So there's Leja, Epicon,
This is how
Sarana,
malls started, by the way, dude. Sears was like, hey, Dillard, you guys want to go in together on a building? And then J.C. Penney was like, I also want to go in on that. And then Macy's was like, you can't do that without us. And then Starbucks was like, we'll put one there. And then the local Chinese restaurant was like, can we also be there? We'll get free samples. And then somehow PacSun got invited. And then
they're like, you know what's missing here? Freaking really weird gifts.
Yeah, we need a weird gift shop, right?
Gifts. And a playground.
And then a massage guy was like, what if I just set up a chair in the middle of the thing?
In the hallway. I'll just massage
I'll be in the hallway. I'll be in the hallway. Yeah, I'll be in the hallway. I'll be in the hallway. And then Orange Julius was like, we can't sustain.
We don't exist.
We can't sustain outside of this. And Sbarro Pizza was like, this is perfect for us. And then all of a sudden,
they said, we need pretzels. We need pretzels in here. Someone get us pretzels.
Yeah, someone get us pretzels.
And pipe the smell through the whole building.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then Victoria's Secret was like, hey, we're inappropriate. And like they're like,
perfect.
And then Hollister was like, we're more inappropriate. And they're like, we're ripping our shirts off and we're going to send these shirtless dudes around the mall to lure in teenage girls. Wait, what? To sell more jeans?
We're going to sell jeans. Okay. We're just selling jeans.
We're just selling jeans.
Yeah. But if we see any hot guys, we're going to get them to work for us.
Yeah. You want to work here?
Yeah. You want to work here?
What do I have to do? Be hot.
Take your shirt off. Oh, hey, yeah. You want to work here?
I'll be honest with you, though. And this is a real thing I argued with my wife about the other night, is that had we committed when I was in kindergarten, had we committed with the right connections and the right diet and the right training, I could have been a Hollister model. And that was an argument that I had with my wife. My wife was like, surely not. And I said, hey, I'm 6'3". And she thought, I thought you were 6'5", because my wife thinks I'm 6'5". And I'm 6'3". And I said, I could have been a Hollister model.
And she's like, you don't have what,
Hollister, Missouri, the suburb of Branson? And I said, no, Hollister, the store that's in the malls. And she goes, what's a mall? And I said, well, it's an investment venture that we had to add on to because people want to do Sears and Dillard's and Macy's and all that. And then we lure girls in by being shirtless men. And she was like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do with my washboard abs, is I want to sell some denim jeans. I think in a different life, Tim, look at me. I really do think that had I committed, I could have been a Hollister model. What do you think about that?
You know, I think your genetics is going to make it a harder road for you, but I think you could get there.
I think there's a path
with the right opportunity. If your parents were wealthier, if you were the 1%, you could have done it.
If I had known the right guy, I could have been a Hollister model yesterday.
Yeah, if you would have known the right guy, if you would have been a 1% of the 1%, he would have changed Hollister's model completely to just fit your mold. And so now it's just
I could have been
without washboard abs.
We're freaking just average guys, man.
Average dudes luring teenage girls into this store.
What's up? Hey,
you guys want to go to the really dark store?
We call them athletic cut because husky was a word that was getting a little offensive.
It was a little rude.
So we switched it to athletic. That's the build that we sell here.
You guys want to come with me to the darkest store in the mall?
Athletic. Because also here's the thing, is the normal level, they put like the skinny jeans and stuff, but then the plus sizes are always on the bottom shelf. Yeah. Like, I'm going to get down there and get it, you know?
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
I mean, I think you could have done it.
There's got to be a movie. I feel like this is such a Seth Rogen movie bit, you know, where like Jonah Hill is standing outside of an Abercrombie being like, come on in, guys. Or like, you know, like there's got to be, that's got to have been done, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
It does feel like, never mind.
I think Old Navy really missed by not letting me do that.
You could try. Talk to your agent. Maybe you can line something up.
Old Navy. We have an opportunity to do something pretty funny.
Groundbreaking.
Well, don't say groundbreaking. I'm not that big anymore. If you had got me when I was 400 pounds, that would have been groundbreaking. All right? I don't break ground anymore.
Okay, so
I do this bit in my show about how I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And occasionally overweight people will come up to me afterward and they'll go, how did you do it?
Yeah.
And I have to be like, they're like, I hate working out. I go, I also hate working out, but I hate myself more. And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And I can always see in their eyes they're not ready.
Yeah.
Because they go, after Christmas, I'm going to get it. No. If you're like, after Christmas, I'll get it. You don't hate yourself enough yet.
You need to get a little bit more self-loathing.
You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I freaking hate you.
Yeah.
And then run until you can't breathe. You're coughing up blood. That's how you'll lose weight. That's some advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What really did it for me, the reason I lost weight was because I was in the sales training seminar, and the guy doing the seminar pulled me to the front. He said, take off your shirt. And I said, whoa. And he was like, you're going to sell jeans at this store. Take off your shirt.
Honestly, that explains a lot. I bet he was a Hollister model. Now that you bring that up, that would connect a lot of dots for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Would it?
It would connect a lot.
How did we
of
get
dots.
here? Oh, yeah. They're doing a lot of different
They're just like, yeah, let's add in a whole bunch of stuff. And so they're adding in all these new districts.
Someone's going to search this episode looking for this topic, and this sucks for them. It's a good time, though. I'm
They're
having
adding
fun.
in all these sub-districts.
Yeah.
And most of them are like resort tourism stuff. Some of them are like specific industries.
Sure.
Like there's going to be one district that's all dedicated to producing green hydrogen. Who knows what that means?
Whatever that is.
And then they're going to export that. And then there's going to be like this really cool skyscraper, like all of it's just groundbreaking, super futuristic architecture.
Sure.
That's like one with the planet and very green, like all that buzzwordy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all AI and it's all in the Internet of Things. And so everything's connected. It has all your
.com,
data.
and it's all, what was the other buzzwords? Data driven. And it's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like everything in your life in the
Connected.
city. Yeah, everything in your life in the city has a central hub and it has all your data in it and you're sharing all your data with the hub and that goes through. And
Unprecedented.
yeah, they say unprecedented a lot, actually. And then it starts working. They start getting all these financial backers from not only just like very wealthy individuals, but from wealthy nations and wealthy organizations who are like, this is interesting. I would like to, be a part of
This is interesting. Please take my cash.
Please take my money.
I say, this is something I'd prefer to invest in.
Yeah. And so they put together a, what's the word I should say?
Conglomerate.
Is it? Well, I was going to say more like motley crew of investors.
Okay.
And
Who's most notable in there? Who's invested in this?
the most notable,
Do we know who? We got names in here, right?
we have some names. Some names are public. Some names are not. Probably the biggest one is BlackRock, Larry Fink.
Okay.
And he's taken some interesting photos. I'll pull this one up. We can show this one here because it's one of my favorite.
We did a whole episode about BlackRock. We don't like them.
Yeah, they're sketchy.
Did we do a whole episode about BlackRock?
Yes, we did. We did an episode about BlackRock. There is a photo of Larry Fink with the all the Saudi princes when he did his investment.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, why is it so little?
I did get an email about this.
What?
Someone was like, hey, this is an investment opportunity. We just need your routing number and your checking account number. And I was like, heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm in.
Let me see if I can find this actual.
Like, can you also send a couple pictures of you shirtless? We want to pass it along to Hollister Corporate.
Hollister Corporate?
I did send photos of me shirtless to hollister@gmail.com just to see if I can get in.
This photo
Alex is typing as if I'm going to cut that out.
Larry Fink posing with the Saudi princes is
Which one's-
incredible. It's it's giving what it is?
Yeah.
Emperor, Star Wars Emperor vibes.
It's very weird.
Emperor
He's just-
Palpatine. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
He's evil, I think.
I know. It's very sketchy. But he's invested a lot in it, and a lot of other fund managers have invested their funds in it. Nations have invested in it. Individuals have invested in it. And
So
they've
where
actually
is it?
set up a website
Okay.
because there's been some questions about the progress and the things that have been happening there. So they set up a website where they set up thousands of webcams at the construction sites where the investors can just log in and watch construction. And they actually, every day, have people piloting drones around the construction sites that are live streaming the construction. And so if you're an investor, you can log on and just, it looks like they're still building.
Like Big Brother. You can just be like,
Yep.
I wonder who we're going to vote out today. Because, I mean, clearly they're not OSHA compliant. There's people falling off this thing and
Yeah.
dying all the time.
Well, it's a good point you brought that up. There's been some criticisms
Yes.
of this. Obviously, Saudi Arabia doesn't have.
How are they building it, Tim? Use the word.
So Saudi Arabia doesn't have a good reputation when it comes to human rights violations. So they have on many occasions violated human rights, and this seems to be a little different. We don't have.
Are they using labor that is unpaid?
We don't have evidence of this yet. There is theories. And there is a director of the project who has openly said, I am proud of the fact that I treat my laborers like slaves because I get good results out of them. And so,
Someone's like, what do you mean by that?
yeah, are you
like,
saying?
Is this a language barrier?
Yeah,
Is this a
is
weird?
this what
Because
you're-
when you say that, we think something else.
Yeah, he followed that up by saying, when they drop down dead, I celebrate. That's how I do my projects. And so, not a great work culture, even if he is paying them. We're not sure, but...
So earlier when we were like, this guy looks evil.
Well, that wasn't him.
No. But he's invested in that.
He's invested in that. Yeah, he is invested in that. Also, what we do know for sure...
We have clients.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We have corporate clients. We do a lot
Yeah.
of... If you're a corporate person and you want us to do content for you, you want to get better at looking good on screen and
If you're
be more
watching us and you're
comfortable on
like,
camera,
man, these guys look really good on screen.
these guys are really good at being on camera.
I can tell that they started this in kindergarten.
These guys are so
and they've had a
comfortable.
lot of
I can tell because they
opportunity.
had the right connections and their mom and dad gave them the right, nutrition. They're really good on camera. We are Solar Flare Media and we can help you do that. But if one of our
Tell their parents fed them right to
if
get
one of
them.
our clients said to me, I love when my workers die, that means I'm doing well. I want to say we'd terminate that contract. We would have to look at the books, but I want to say we'd probably terminate that contract.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing we do know for sure that happened was when they began this project in 2020, there was a local tribe that was native to the area. And
Yeah, they can't stay there.
There was about 20,000 people who lived there. Most of them were like a nomadic tribe. That's the thing that's kind of crazy. Most of them did not have like brick and mortars. A lot of them were nomads.
Okay.
But they still drove them out of the area to build these major projects.
Yeah.
And when those people revolted, some of them were killed. And it has left a stain on the whole project, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's this kind of...
Why are you're acting like they're gonna hunt you down and shoot you.
No.
Just say what happened. You're like, well, I don't want to take them off though, because like
That's not what it is.
I don't want my rent to jump when I try to move there.
That's not what I'm saying. It's a weird thing because it's very public that this happened.
Yeah.
They're not denying that this happened. Human rights associations have condemned it. And they are just moving
well then
forward.
yeah, we're good. Yeah, if the human rights organizations condemned it,
they're just moving
nothing's
forward
real
like nothing
anymore,
happened.
dude.
And all these investors
nothing matters.
from all over the globe are still pouring money into it, even after 20,000 people got pushed out of their homes and people died in the process. And they're just like, yeah, it's
capitalistic organizations not giving a crap about the death and blood of people in a certain region. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Wanted to let you know real quick, we have an email list and it's not like hey, we're going to send you our merch and new episodes all the time. We actually give you updates on these stories as we find out about them. So a lot of our episodes we've done a couple years ago now have updates, or the person the topic was about passed away or was caught by the police, or whatever updates we can find on episodes that we've done. We want to let you know about it so that our episodes just aren't, out there out of date. It's a really fun way to keep learning new information. And then every once in a while, we let you know about new events coming up or new episodes. And it's just a way to help us keep spreading this show. To join that email list, you can text TILLN to 66866, or there's a link in the description of this episode, or you can just go to TILLN.com. It's very easy to join this email list. It's everywhere. It's actually really hard to not join it. So...
And so, and they said, oh, well, we paid them. They did not pay them adequately.
We paid them.
Yeah.
I gave him a sock. Dobby's a free elf.
He gave him a sock. What do you expect out of this? And so there's been a lot of criticisms is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And rightly so. But the project also has not gone great. The intention was by now
what was the expected end date for this. Oh.
You all right there?
You see that happen?
What just happened?
I like tried to raise my hand up and I pushed the mic into my face.
Yikes.
And it hurt a lot.
So the expectation was by 2030, they would have, I think it was an eighth of this line built and people living there. No, they're not going to meet that at all. They haven't even, so they've started moving earth, but they haven't even started laying foundations.
They started moving earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let me see.
This feels like this was really just an attempt to kill all those people.
I don't know if that's the truth, but I do have an idea of what is actually happening here. Let's see. So this is what they've done so far. I'll open this. So they're like cutting the hole in the dirt, basically, for where this is going to go. I've
seen this several times.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all. They've done this for almost the whole stretch of where it's going to go.
So,
and it's not.
Is this where the building's going to be, and then this is the quarter mile?
Yeah. So
the other line's on the other side over there.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And so this, I mean, to be fair, this is a 160-mile long hole that they dug. That's a big project, but they are significantly over budget. They're consistently missing deadlines. Investors are starting to ask questions, and there's murmurings that maybe this is some sort of money laundering scheme or something like that.
From the Saudis? The Saudis are doing money laundering?
So earlier this year...
No.
So earlier this year...
And they're aided by the U.S. government? It can't be. Huh. Well, color me shocked.
Yeah.
I sure thought the powers that be were on our side.
So earlier this year, Sindala.
It's so uncomfortable. They're not going to kill you, Tim.
I'm not. Earlier this year, Sindala had a grand opening.
Oh, they might. Who knows?
They rushed it out and they said, we have to open something. The investors are getting nervous. The investors are getting
Welcome
antsy.
to the pit. I fell into the pit.
Oh, yeah, we can make it a tourist site while it's under construction.
Let's make it a pit.
Yeah, let's just leave it. Forget the line. It's now the pit.
It's the pit.
Yeah, we just move everyone into the pit. Yeah, I grew up in the pit. You think that's how Pittsburgh got its name?
I was going to make that joke.
The town.
Just keep going.
They started the town.
And they were like, whatever. Let them live in the pit.
It didn't work out. And they said, all right, we're going to try again with Philadelphia. You guys can live in the pit.
Yeah, that's 100% what
it was too offensive, so they changed it to Pittsburgh. Okay, anyways. I like that origin story. It's kind of like Wicked. I was like,
would you please?
Fan fiction for Pittsburgh.
What?
That's what Wicked is, right? A fan fiction?
Of Pittsburgh?
Of Pittsburgh. Anyways, so they opened up Sindala.
Okay.
And they like rushed it to get it ready to go. And essentially what they said
Sindala is the
Sindala is
yacht.
the island,
Yeah.
the island yacht club thing. And so they rushed it open. They said, okay, we're going to get a 5-star chef. Well, a 3-star, three-star Michelin chef, but a world famous 3-star Michelin rated chef.
Yeah.
We're going to get him on the island.
Gordon Ramsay tied up.
He's gonna do some cooking.
You're gonna cook for us.
He's gonna do some cooking. We're gonna open
and
up.
if you die, even better.
We're gonna open up some spaces that are ready, that are done.
Okay.
And then we're gonna open up some rooms that are done, and we're gonna invite some influencers, some very wealthy influencers, for a concert and an evening experiencing this, so they can see this.
Coldplay.
Let me see. And so they can have.
Don't worry about the people who died for this. They said they were like nothing.
They said they were like nothing.
It didn't matter. You're like, what?
Alicia Keys performed, and they invited Catherine Jenkins,
bro.
Chris Tucker, Will Smith, Tom Brady.
Will Smith or Tom Brady?
Yeah. Like people you know. And they called it
everyone who's in the Illuminati.
They called it Red Sea Week. And they invited them there. But here's the thing, they didn't have enough rooms ready for everybody. So here's what they did.
They fire festival them?
Here's what they did. They chartered a bunch of extra yachts so that it would feel full. So they chartered a bunch of extra yachts to slip in the boat slits. And so then everybody that they invited, the handful that they invited, would come in there with their yachts and be like, oh, there's a lot of people there. And then they hired actors to pretend to be international billionaires and actors to be chefs. And people to pretend that they were like part of the community that was invited to experience Sindalah. But it was fake. It was a big show. And the guy behind all this is like the de facto leader of Saudi Arabia right now. His name is Mohammed bin Salman. And he has done a lot of these major projects. Like that's kind of his thing. I think he's into like architecture, I guess.
Sure.
And so he does a lot of these mega projects. And he's next in line to be the ruler, and he kind of is currently ruling. Like it's kind of one of those situations.
Right.
His grandfather founded Saudi Arabia. His grandfather's name is, I think, Ibn Saud is how you say it. So he obviously named it after him. So he's a Saudi prince, and he saw this. He wasn't aware that they decided to do all this, and he also saw the facilities, and he was like outraged. He fired everybody on the project, and he's like starting new. And he's like, we need a fresh start. Yeah, well, I don't know so much that they faked it. It's that they didn't fake it well. And it was people could see through it, and it didn't look good. I haven't seen him talk about it. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen any of them talk about it, and I would not be surprised if they signed some NDAs.
I don't think they signed NDAs. I think
they
just
were
pointed guns at their heads and they said, if you tell anybody about this, we'll kill you. And I think they were like, you know what?
Like,
we get it.
That sounds good. I'm okay with that.
This is the same as this is how Saudi Arabia law works.
Yeah. If you talk about this, we kill you. That's the law.
You know what? I understand.
Yeah, honestly, I don't need to sign anything.
I don't want to owe anything to the Saudis.
And so
that's crazy.
This launch got kind of publicly botched. And it was earlier this year. It was very recent. And so
earlier this year?
Yeah, earlier this year.
Last year.
No, earlier this year.
Last month.
Yeah. They had their launch for this big...
Where Tom Brady went.
Yes.
This is last month.
Yes.
Okay. Well, not last month now that you're listening to this. You're listening to this and this episode comes out in 2027, right? We record really in advance.
Really far ahead.
No, but in January of 2025.
Yes, I believe so.
That's crazy.
And so they had this big event and it was a big botch. And so now there's a ton of questions of the future of Neom and what's going to happen with this project. And there's a lot of questions about the legitimacy. And obviously the people who were over at least Sindalah all got fired. And so now there's questions about the whole project as a whole, as everyone's kind of walking on eggshells now because it looks a little questionable. And it does kind of seem like the money's starting to run dry.
Yeah.
Because they've spent a lot on this. But this is very clearly a Hail Mary for
sure.
Saudi Arabia for a lot of reasons, but probably the biggest being oil is falling out of favor, and that's the only source of income for the nation. The nation is very, very wealthy, but if green energy continues to become a thing and oil loses its foothold, then Saudi Arabia loses its income, its sole income. And so they're trying to diversify and come up with other income. Also, even still, there's estimates that by the end of the 2030s, Saudi Arabia is out of oil anyways. And so even if that doesn't happen and we continue our heavy reliance on oil, they run out of the resource and they are not part of the game anymore. There's also this other interesting thing that I haven't seen anyone talk about. And the Arctic Circle right now is melting.
Okay, go ahead.
No, the Arctic Circle's...
There's this thing I haven't heard anybody talk about lately, and it's that global warming? You're like, yeah, haven't heard of that at all, buddy.
No, so with the Arctic Circle melting, this is opening up 2 new shipping lanes on the Northern Sea route, and then I can't remember what they call this route, but those are typically only open during a couple months out of the year when it's possible to get ice-breaking ships up through there. And it's not a viable shipping lane. But as the sea continues to melt...
Oh, thank God.
That becomes a thing.
We can use it.
Well, listen.
Capitalism.
Listen, here's the thing. That becomes an actual viable shipping lane, both of those 2 lanes, year-round, which
is super helpful.
No, effectively renders the Suez Canal useless because that will be quicker for any Asian country to get to Europe than it will be for them to wrap around through the Suez Canal.
Oh, interesting.
And so this is a huge deal, I think, for any nation that prospers even slightly off the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
And so I think that, especially the shipping lane or the shipping corridor that they're building and this green energy thing,
Yeah.
I could see a possible world. And this is totally unconfirmed. This is conjecture from my brain.
Sure.
But I could see them trying to create this green city to prove this concept, to curb global warming and help keep the shipping lane in their area and prevent it from
But why
going
would it
up
be
to
faster for Asia, for them to go to Europe that way?
I mean, it depends which side of Asia you're on. If you're Japan, if you're China, it's faster to go up to the North Sea to get to Europe. But if you're South Asia, if you're Malaysia or India, it's faster to go through the Suez Canal.
How is it faster? If the Earth
the Earth is flat.
Flat.
That's what you're doing. You're doing the bit about the Earth being flat.
If the Earth's
here.
flat,
Okay.
why is my flight path curved?
Okay.
Yeah. I was being dumb for a second.
I see. I didn't get it, but now I do.
Yeah. It's because my parents tried to put me in the NFL, but I just got CTE instead.
So I could see a
I
possible
remember
world.
that. About halfway through our conversation, I was like, oh, my parents did try to do that.
My parents tried it.
My parents did try to set me up for success.
I did go to the NFL.
Oh,
this
I
whole podcast is
did
just
go to the
me, a
NFL.
former NFL player
Wait.
who got so concussed he can't remember it.
My brothers have a podcast without me.
And every episode, I talk about how I think I could have made it to the league.
I'm baby Gronk. All right, keep going. I'll sit like you.
Do you think? Okay. So I think there's a possible world where, at the very least, they're trying to make sure that the Suez Canal stays relevant.
Right.
Because if there's a major shipping lane, or if they have a major port there, then that shipping lane stays relevant because you have to hit that port.
Right.
And so you're going to continue to use the Suez. And obviously they don't own the Suez, but they benefit off of shipping traffic coming through the Red Sea because they obviously border the majority
Obviously.
of it. And here's where my conspiracy brain goes. They're trying to get the green energy thing to show it's viable, to get other nations to do it, to try to curb global warming so that way the North Sea doesn't open up. And they can benefit off that. Even still, they're trying to diversify their income, tourism, all these other industries.
Right.
To get away from
and that's what they've got to do, because if that canal not dries up, but you know what I'm talking about, like dries up from traffic, then they're hosed.
Yeah. They need
all of our analogies are water-based, aren't they? Dries up, hosed. Pretty crazy.
All right, I don't know what you're doing right now.
I told you I'm sitting the way that you sit in chairs.
I don't sit.
This is how you're sitting.
I don't sit even close to that.
This is how you're sitting right now.
I'm not even close to that.
I'm not even close.
I'm going to sit how you sit. Just so straight. Just absurdly good posture. It's insane.
I sit super straight.
With my hands crossed. Who crosses their hands like this?
Influential leaders,
Who folds their hands like this?
People,
psychopaths.
Business leaders.
If you're talking to someone and they go like this, run.
Top salesmen, leaders, CEOs, co-founders, funeral directors, shit like that.
Funeral directors.
I'll tell you
What
what.
are you trying to tell us? You selling body parts?
So anyway, what I was trying to say, dude, I'm just trying to give my relevant thoughts on the Saudis.
Here's the deal.
Honestly, come kill me. Who gives a
Here's the thing. I don't know what the story. I don't know if this is going to succeed.
I don't know if I can get out of this, to be
I
honest.
don't know if Neom is going to get built, but if it does, I'd move there.
Stuck. I think I'm stuck like this.
Live there.
Are we close to the end of this episode?
Yeah, we can fit.
Oh, well, I mean, wait. Don't fiddle off yet.
Oh, okay. Bleep that.
We left where I'm curious about. So as of now, is there like an actual projected, like if work were to continue at the pace that it's going?
The thing that they continue to do is double down on the projections that they had. And so they're doubling down that by 2030 that there will be people living in the line. They have not built a thing yet.
But like,
They've just
how
dug
long?
a hole.
Okay, that's people living there. What have they said as far as like the whole thing's done?
That's a little gray.
Is this like a multi-generational 40-year project? Is this...
that's a little gray, I think.
Okay.
I think that there's not really a timeline for completing the whole thing. There's just this is going to be, they keep saying things like this is going to be, I think they use the word unprecedented. They say it's going to be an unprecedented project. And I've seen it where they say it over and over again. Like they have officials who are like, this is going to be unprecedented and the impact will be unprecedented and it's going to be an unprecedented development that construction will be unprecedented. And like they say it that often where you're just like, stop saying that phrase, that word. And they're doubling down on it. They're acting like everything's going great. I don't know internally if they actually think that it's realistic and that's going to actually happen. But if you look at these construction projects, the only things that are complete are the villages that they built to house the workers at each of these projects. Those are the only things that are complete. Even Sandala is incomplete. They had this party, but it's not done.
Okay.
So
now we can go off. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like that and you want more of it, we have plenty of other episodes, including one about BlackRock, the investment firm that is not only invested in the line, but invested in so many homes across the country. Some people blame them for the housing crisis itself. So we did that episode a couple of years ago. You can check out that. If you want next week's episode right now, you can join us as a member, support our show, help us grow it, help us to continue to put out episodes. You can find all the information for that at TILLN.com/join. You can join our Discord. We have monthly hangouts. It's a really great time. Would love to see you there. If not, thanks for supporting the show just by listening and by sharing. Tell somebody that you like the show, and that helps us get the word out. So we'll see you next week on Things I Learned Last Night.